Hello, greetings from the speed shop day 21 of Lockdown Diaries. I think we're all going mad, aren't we, at the minute? It's like being stuck in purgatory, but let's hope the wheels start turning soon. Mixed success the last few days with the 310 GS in the wheel change. Obviously, the beauty of the GS, easy to work on, easy to get the wheels out of. Just the axle bolt, 4 retainers. There, just loosen them off. That comes out easy. Back wheel, no problem at all. Just take out the rear axle, slide the wheel forward, lift the chain over the sprocket onto the swing arm, pull the wheel out, no problems there. Nice, easy to get out. The problem I've had is getting the bloody tyres off. It's tubeless tyres on a cast rim. To be honest, I've never changed a tubeless tyre before, and breaking the bead was difficult. I had to watch some YouTube videos on that to manage that because I've only got the levers. So that was difficult. It's very cold in here, so I think the rubber was very stiff. So I finally got that done. Finally got one edge of the tyre over, but just getting the second side of the tyre over was nigh on impossible here. So I took it home and I warmed it up by the radiator, and I did get it off this morning. But getting on the new Kenda big blocks was, I've got to be honest, was beyond me. So if you're looking for expert tyre fitting advice, there are plenty of other places to go. So a little bit frustrated with that really, and a reminder that unless you're changing tyres regularly and you've got a good technique, there's a good chance you're going to struggle. Which is why I think with the GS310, it's good that they're tubeless. You know, people poo-poo the idea of them being cast aluminium rims, because they allegedly crack easier and they're not as good for extreme off-road. But I think for this type of bike, where you're going to be using it on light trails, road, and commuting, I think the benefit of a tubeless tyre is just tenfold, really. The fact that you can get a cheap and easy tubeless puncture repair kit, you know, pull out the nail, stick in the nozzle, twist, pull out, and away you go, pump up and away you go, versus getting the wheel out, getting the tyre off, getting the tube out, getting the tube back in, getting the tyre back on. You know, the difference is 2 hours and lots of swearing, frustration, and cursing. And, you know, I think the reality is, for a lot of people, myself included in this occasion, it doesn't happen. And I've had to take these wheels, and now I've gone off to the local tyre shop to get them to put them on. I think, you know, in a war situation, when you're on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere, you'd manage it through sheer determination. But in a garage with a MOT station just down the road, I'd rather spend 20 quid and not ruin the rest of my rims. So, yeah, you know, tubeless tyres, really for me, it's a no-brainer. Which is neatly leads on to the Moto Guzzi V85 TT, which is also getting the Kenda big block treatment. And these are tubed tyres. So it's been useful for me to deal with getting the wheels. It's the first time I've taken the wheels out, so each bike I find has got its own idiosyncrasies as to best practice for getting the wheels out. And I think for anyone for any motorcyclist, simply knowing how to remove a wheel on that particular bike and knowing what exact tools you need is a real good asset. You know, just knowing that it's a 27mm on the rear and a 30 on the front, neither of which obviously come in the toolkit. So travelling with those right socket sets, spanners, is crucial, you know, whether you're going on a short trip or a big one. Just knowing that the best way to do this is to undo the caliper bolts, rear brake caliper bolts, before you slide out the axle. That then allows you to rotate this sort of pivot here, if you can see that. That pivots up to allow the wheel to go over to the left, and then it drops off off the mounts. And then out the wheel comes. Not as easy, I've got to be honest, as the GS 1200. That was probably the easiest wheel to get off ever. You just had the 5 mounting bolts on the outside, undo them, and the wheel simply lifted straight out and off. Because that was a single-sided swing arm, isn't it, on the GS? Yeah, just so easy on that one. The front, again, just had a little bit of an issue. You know, if you imagine it at the side of the road and you're trying to fix a puncture, couldn't get the axle out just because it's got a bit of surface rust on it and it just jammed. So I had to give it a good tap out, but I had to go through the toolbox and get a socket that fit the edge of the tip of the axle just to knock it through. So if you're at the side of the road and sweating and cursing, that'll be a problem. So I think for me, it's a real benefit that Moto Guzzi have fitted tubeless rear tyres. Tubeless tyres for the 2021 model. To me, it just goes hand in hand with what this type of bike is, i.e., a predominantly tarmac touring bike, and I think tubeless every day of the week. So those kenders are going to go on. I'm going to take those wheels down to local tyre shop Islands tomorrow and get them changed. Pick up the wheels for the 310 GS and get them on. And then hopefully in due course get the Kender big blocks tested. I was speaking to John at Rally Ray today, and he really rates the Kenders. Just finds them a really grippy off-road tyre and pretty decent on-road. Obviously it's a compromise having a big block tyre. You don't have that same confidence in the wet, but in the dirt then I think it's going to be a big help. I'm curious just really to see what this V85 TT is like in the dirt. And that's why I'm putting the tyres on. I'm also curious to see what it looks like, because I think with a bit of toughening up, it should look a bit more aggressive. So we'll get them on. For anybody taking out both wheels, don't do what I've done a few times and end up with the bike on the deck. I've learnt the hard way that the best way to do it is to get the bike up on the centre stand. Again, I mean, can you believe that manufacturers are selling bikes with tubed wheels with no centre stand as standard? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's just wrong, really. It's like selling a car without a way of getting the wheel out, or I don't know. It's just bonkers, because without a centre stand, you're stuck. So centre stand optional on this one. I've got it fitted. Put it up on the centre stand. Take out the rear wheel because it'll always sit nose heavy, or generally does. Slide something under the front to stop it sagging or sloping down. Another option is that you can do, some people do, is tie wrap or ratchet strap the centre stand to stop that collapsing, which is another good trick. And then with something supporting the underside of the engine, then you take out the front wheel and it should remain pretty stable without falling over. But yeah, a few times now I've taken out the front first, and then it drops onto its fork legs and then topples over. I've had that happen on a Himalayan and a GS12. I don't learn my lessons easily, but yes, there's something certainly to be said about the little light, narrow tyres of the postie bikes and how easy they are to change. You could fix a tyre on them in no time at all. Get your luggage off, whip a wheel out, and you could be back on the road in sort of 25-30 minutes, even with tube tyres. I think, in all honesty, if you were punctured at the side of the road with a Guzzi and you had to get it fixed and you had tyre levers, I think you're looking at a good hour or so, hour and a half probably, and there's a good chance that you could just scratch your rims to kingdom come, because even with rim protectors using it on the GS310, I was still nicking the rim. I think in the haste and panic of being at the side of the road, I think you'd take great chunks out your rims. So yeah, a good move to fit tubeless for next year. There are solutions that you can fit to sort of make a tube tyre or tubed rim tubeless. It essentially involves once the tyre's off, just putting sort of like a wax bud over each of the spoke holes, and then wrapping it around with like a very adhesive tape. There's a few companies. There's one on eBay that does them that does it for various bikes for about £110 for the kit, and then that notionally makes them tubeless. And I think, if anybody going touring who doesn't fancy the idea of tyre levers and whatnot, then I would say it's a good one to have. So that's it. Yeah, even with experience, you can still struggle at the basics such as tyre changing. So it's easy to say practice. It's easy to say watch YouTube videos, but coming down to actually doing it is a whole nother ball game. So if you don't feel confident or able, and you've tried and you've failed to change a tyre, don't feel too bad, because it's actually quite a difficult skill to learn. And the problem with it is you're not doing it frequently enough to sort of get the muscle memory to do it. And it's also a strenuous job. So you might not be capable, certainly on these big wide tyres, of getting it off, so to speak. So don't beat yourself up. And if you are worried, get a bike with tubeless rims, or adapt them. Or I've got some slime. I don't know where it is. I've got some here. No. So slime is like a gunk that you take the valve out of the bike, which is very easy. It comes with the tool to do that. Take the valve out of the bike and just pour in, squeeze in through the bottle a various amount of this green slime that then stays in the tube and notionally heals up the tyre should it get punctured. Obviously people have got bad experiences with this. You know, if you've got a big blowout or a big rupture in the tyre, it's not going to seal that. But I had it on one of the Himalayans. I had a slow puncture on the front. I think I probably nicked it with a lever when changing the tyre over last time. Rather than take it all off and do it all again, I just put some slime in, did a few rotations, and that sealed it. So, you know, it's not going to save every situation, but to me, most punctures are those nails, screws, thin things that penetrate the tyre, and slime, or I think goop is another one, will cure that and allow you to keep travelling, or at least slow down the rate of pressure loss, which might allow you to get somewhere, a town or a village that has got somebody who can fix it. There's no right and wrong, you know. Some people don't like slime, some people do, but for me, if I was travelling on a bike with tubed tyres, I would fit slime, because you know there's a good chance it's going to allow you to get to somewhere to fix it properly. And then that's it. So yeah, so tyres fitted tomorrow. It'd be interesting to see what the Guzzi looks like. Interesting to see what the GS310 looks like with some knobblies on it, some attitude. And then another day we'll talk about tyres. But they, Metzler Taurences. Actually, Metzler Taurences, I think were on this and the GS310. And interestingly, the Guzzi V85 TT runs exactly the same profile, diameter, and wheel size as the GS310. So that set of tyres there would fit a Guzzi V85 or a GS310, and that probably shows you just how overtired the 310 GS is. You know, for 34 brake horsepower, it's got the same rubber contact patch as a V85 TT with 80 brake horsepower. So I think, BMW probably overtired it a little bit. That's it. Over and out. Laters, alligators. Hope everyone's well. Looking forward to days of grand opening, whenever that may be. Cheers.